Welcome to We Digress with Joy and Jess. Join hosts and longtime friends Joy Simpson and Jess Perry as they tackle the stuff of life the only way they know how, with honesty, faith, and humor. This is We Digress with Joy and Jess. Hello, everybody. Welcome to We Digress. Depends when you're listening. Welcome to We Digress with Joy and Jess. I am Jess. We were talking before we started, like, Joy and I have had crazy busy weeks, like so much going on. If we look a little not our normal selves,
disheveled,
it's because we got so much going on. Like, we are
this vacation,
we are relying on water
and
coffee and
yes, that has been my beverage literally all week. It's been water, whether it be still or sparkling.
Okay.
And coffee. Well, we drink because we don't drink a lot of soda, so we keep Waterloo in the house. So we bought a really bad flavor of it, and we've been trying to get rid of it for like a week. It sounded like it was amazing. Like, we were like, oh, that's gonna sound so good in summery, and it was like, yeah, that's terrible. It's orange dream, like an orange creamsicle.
That sounds like it should be delightful.
It sounds like it should be, but it's not. We couldn't even barely get through a sip. Like, we sipped the same can. Like, I didn't even open a second one. Like, my mom was like, no. And I was like, oh, it can't be that bad, Mom. Like, come on. Sometimes I like things that she doesn't. Child, no. She was right. It was terrible. And we've been trying to get rid of a case of it ever since. But the ginger one is great. We like the pineapple.
Ginger. The Waterloo's good.
Peach is it's like, there's a new flavor called Tropical Punch that we haven't tried. We got to find it.
Okay.
And then we tried the bubbly lemon sorbet. It oddly tastes like a sorbet. It's a mind trip, honestly. Like, it's
so funny with some of them. Like, you feel like it should be sweet, and your brain is almost like, this is sweet, but then you're like, it's not though. Not. Like the LaCroix limoncello, I think, is my favorite of all the flavors that I've tried. Because it's the most, like, it tastes the best. I think just like it has the most identifiable flavor.
Fun fact, we were looking at hotels in Hawaii, right, before we booked the actual place. There's a hotel called Hotel LaCroix, and in my mind, they're owned by LaCroix. I don't know if they are, but in my mind, they are, because I didn't see any evidence of the such, but it looks like a nice hotel. But
if they're not serving LaCroix in each room.
If this is what I'm saying. I was like, I wonder if you get like a thing of LaCroix in your room.
Isn't LaCroix a place?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I thought that was Saint.
Consult the Oracle.
Let's look it
up. LaCroix. It's going to be sparkling water. Store locator.
Store locator.
The world's premier international independent Catholic something or other, LaCroix Church, LaCroix sparkling water. To be fair, I have LaCroix restaurant at the Rittenhouse, fine dining in Atlanta. To be fair, I have a crappy search engine. I need to switch over my search engine. For whatever reason, I thought I was being smart, and I should just say hello to the FBI man tracking my house and just go back to Google. But anyways.
Speaking of the FBI, people don't think that they're smart. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they're not.
And when you, I mean, there's some things that are low, but what we have to do before we actually share what the topic is, I just want to say this. If you're going to commit a crime, be smarter about it, because people can find your internet searches. People can find your phone searches. People can find the internet searches on your phone and your laptop. And don't Google like a child.
I'm sorry. We have how many true crime podcasts at our disposal?
Seriously.
And this is not me advocating that anyone should go out and do this, but if you have not considered how to commit the perfect crime, what are you even doing? Like, I have.
But it didn't involve Googling movies.
No, description. It's a mental exercise. Now, okay, so this is a little insight into the randomness that is my brain. But flashback to, remember last season? Remember last season we were talking about all the drama with our house build construction?
Right.
I have, and we have also had this episode of the podcast where we talk about my weird, wacky revenge brain.
Yes, we
And
have
how
talked
it's
about
a
that
good
was
thing I
season
got
2
some.
and
Yeah.
1, I
It's a good
think.
thing I have Jesus, because otherwise I'd be a mess.
Let me tell you, if she didn't have Jesus, she would probably be very insane.
I'd be an international wanted criminal.
She probably would be.
Because your girl's Googling skills and the ability to find random information about people, unmatched. Unmatched. To be fair, I also met my husband online. So, like, in the early days, like before apps,
You
like
did. I'm pulling up some facts of the situation while you're
okay.
saying
All
this, by
right.
the
So
way.
here's how I have, like, this is how I've spent my time. That company, I still like. I'm actually, spoiler alert, working with a local news crew to do an expose on the company that we were in contract with. However, I also, when we were in the thick of it, and was powerless to do anything about the status of our construction, our build of our house, I fantasized a little bit about sending the president of the company, like, I don't know, like animal poop in the mail. Like, I thought about it, or like a glitter bomb or something, like ultimately harmless, but I would feel better. And I legit like had a mental thought of like, okay, how can I purchase postage and put something in the mail without people knowing it's me? How do I buy the postage? How do I order this thing online without using my credit card? So I'm like, okay, so I have to get a burner credit card. So I have to go to like Target or Publix or something, but I don't want to be seen on a security camera purchasing this with my credit card. So I've got to do it in cash. So then I have to like, and I literally went through all the steps that I would need to in order to commit the perfect crime so that I could not be traced. So all that to say, like, if you were not thinking this through, why do we even have true crime podcasts?
And I totally, that's funny. I've never thought that through like that before, but I do enjoy true crime because I am fascinated by certain things by it, especially the fact like, amen, amen for Jesus. Okay. Amen. And I think like, and I was telling Jessica before we started today, like the situation we're going to talk about today has kind of pissed me off a little bit. And I will tell you why. So again, not to be like, oh, they're going to talk about race again. But here's the thing. Statistically, when Black women and children go missing, they are the least likely to be found, especially alive. Some of them are never found, or they're found 20 plus years later somewhere at the bottom of the river next door to the police station where they should have looked for them in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like that. And so we have been fighting for years. Believe women, not only believe women, but believe African American women, believe, start where the searches. Why are we not putting the money, and the police are not doing the things that they're supposed to do? It was a few years ago where I remember a girl went missing. She was African American, and she went missing from the police station here in California. She was out with some friends. She decided, I think, to drive herself, might have possibly been inebriated. And here's the thing, do not victim shame in these situations, whether she was inebriated, not inebriated. That makes me so angry. Like when someone gets killed by the police, black, white, green, brown, then they're like, they go back, well, in 1927, his grandfather was a bootlegger. And so, bootlegging was in his genes. That did not mean he should have got shot by the cops. Anyway, so I digress. Like, that irritates me. Like, you're going to just like, when George Floyd got killed, like everybody came out with his past like no other, and I'm like, does that mean it's cool that he got killed? Like, is that, what's that supposed to mean? Okay, so the girl was inebriated, possibly, from what the police say. They were leaving some like birthday dinner for her, or one of her friends. She gets pulled over. They take her in to, and I can't remember what police station. It was like San Bernardino, somewhere far. And they see her going into the police station, but they don't see her coming out. Like there's footage of her going in. Supposedly the police said that they released her the same night, but supposedly she was still drunk. Why would you release someone who's inebriated on their own recognizance with no one picking them up that you know of, no whatever? Well, they gave her, what was it, bus fare or something like that to take the bus, but there wasn't any nearby bus stations. To this day, this girl has not been found. Okay. So these are the reasons why we say believe. And because the police at the time were giving all kinds of runaround,
Yeah,
it was
super
almost as
sketch.
if, and you don't want to blame the cops, but
Like,
it looks as if
why?
something happened to her in the police station, and we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing that happened with, there's been girls who have been missing where even their parental person has kidnapped her. Well, if it's her father, there's nothing we can do. Well, he has a criminal record and he has no custody. Her mother has custody. They've been looking for her for 20 years, and then she finds out. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't always put the effort behind finding African American women. And there have been times where there's cases at the same time where there is national media going for the Caucasian lady who got lost hiking versus the black girl who went missing.
Right.
And it doesn't even matter if it's a similar situation. They were missing at the same time. Age ranges are the same time, even sometimes, but they're putting the effort, they're putting the media attention, because it's not just the cops looking for them, but the media attention is not going to those women. So when it was, came out July 13th ish that this girl, within minutes, her family was calling the police, calling, people were looking for her. Her name was Carly Russell, because we're going to put it out there. You can Google her. She's not like I'm going to hide her identity, because you'll see why I'm mad. So, because I'm real mad, okay? Like, a lot of people are really mad right now. Like, people asking for their prayers back and stuff on social media. Like, it's the whole thing. This one content creator was like, I done called my grandmother to tell her prayer circle to pray for this girl. Okay. So keep that in your mind when I get to the rest of the story. All right. So when Carly Russell went missing, she's a nursing student. She works, I think, at like a spa or something where she like does kind of like, it's like a healthcare spa kind of place. So it's like that's like her internship because she's in nursing school or whatever. So she had on her scrubs, whatever. So at 9 something at night in Hoover, Alabama, which I've never heard of Hoover, Alabama. Apparently it's right outside of Birmingham. I don't know. I've never been to Alabama, so I don't know. But
fun fact, Birmingham, I don't know what their freeways are doing. They're the worst. Anyways, carry on.
So she calls 911 and she says that she saw a toddler on the road and that they needed help. She didn't say at the time how long she had been following them. That comes out later. Again, that'll get to why I'm pissed off. Thank God for Jesus, because I could have said all kinds of things about this child, because I personally want to wring this child's neck. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't fight and I want to fight her. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Okay. And why a lot of people of all nationalities are angry with this girl.
Oh yeah.
And so at I want to say 9:36 p.m. was the exact time she calls the police to say that she is seeing this toddler on Highway 498 or something like that, and that she doesn't see any adults with them, no other vehicles other than the ones that are driving past her on the freeway, and that she was slowing down or whatever to keep an eye on it, but to send some help. She then, after they say, okay, we're going to help is on the way, dear. Okay. So after they say that she's going to get some help, she calls her sister.
Robin Williams quote.
Right.
Anyways, carry on.
She calls her sister, which I'm like, okay, that's smart. You letting your family know where you are, since you know the police are on their way. Calls her sister, tells her the situation. She stays on the phone with the sister as she gets out the car to go check on the child. The sister, on the other hand, hears her scream and hears nothing else after. So after this, the sister calls 911, tells them that The sister was on Highway 498. They verified that she had called 911 saying that she was following a child. She believed that their sister had possibly been taken or hit because she was on the side of the road. So the police go, she's not there, but they find her vehicle with her hazard lights on, her wig, her wallet, her phone. And I want to say all of this was in the back seat. I don't remember that part exactly, but that was in the car. But on the video footage, because there was video footage of the highway, which I don't know whether she knew there was going to be video footage of the highway or not, but there was video footage of the highway, and you do see her getting out, and you see her going in the back of her vehicle, but it's really dark. It's 9 something at night on the highway in Alabama, you know what I'm saying? So it's not the most well lit area.
Right.
But you don't see a baby and you don't see a person. I heard one content creator say, like, I was looking so hard studying this video. I'm like, is it a small person or a dwarf or something that came and maybe I don't see it because of the way she bent it down? Like, people have been trying to research this video, right?
Right.
So for 48 hours, there is a major search for her. I mean, it's getting all the attention. It's getting media. Now you have content creators who are like of all races. I mean, I saw it on Black people content, white people content, Asian people content.
Right.
I saw it on everybody's content.
It was on
Instagram.
It did make it our local news.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on it was on local news. It was on national news. It was on all these stations. All the attention that we're like, finally, they're listening. They're hearing us. This girl has to be found. We don't want another sad story. We don't want, we know if it's sex trafficking. We got to find this girl before they sell her. And that's why when I shared the post about her being missing, I had gotten convicted in a way like, dang, I'm not sharing it. And because my first thought was she's in Alabama. Like, okay. But then I had to realize, like, she could be anywhere if it's sex trafficking. They could have, taken her anywhere. So on July 15th at like 10:45 p.m., the police station, 2 days later, the police station gets a call from the mother saying that Carly was home. They then go to the house and take her to get checked out at the hospital, the local hospital. Right. So that's how we knew by the end of July 15th. And before I went to bed on July 15th, I was like, God, that is so amazing. I'm so glad that she's home, that they found her. I was like, maybe it was getting too much attention and the streets was too hot. And it was like, we can't, because I'm like, she ended up at her own house. Like, she ended up ringing her family's doorbell or knocking on the door or whatever. They said that she was visibly looking like she had been hurt. Supposedly she didn't really have clothes on like that or anything, and that she they were taking her to the hospital. She had made a statement that she had been abducted, that they had undressed her, that they had taken pictures of her. But then there was something else I thought was interesting, but I was like, maybe they took it did this for the pictures, because I've seen enough Law and Order SVU. They will pretty you up to sell you. So I was like, okay, maybe it's, maybe whatever, because they painted her nails, she said. They painted her nails, and they fed her like a sandwich or something like that to keep her like whatever, but that's all she could really remember. She blacked out a little bit, but she knew they had taken pictures of her and all this other stuff. And eventually she doesn't know why they let her go, but next thing she knows, she could tell she was near her house or something like that. And that's how she just walked from where she was to get to the house. She didn't see their faces or anything of that nature or anything like that. So today is, even though this is going to be after this has happened, today is July 21st, right? So on July 17th, I want to say, because every day more and more things have started coming out where the police are like, we've talked to her, she's getting checked out, little bit by little bit, right? So there's a police conference that happens, and you find out there's some evidence that is happening, but none of the evidence is stacking up to what she's saying.
Her story doesn't match.
Here's the breakdown.
Oh, okay.
And the gist. So it was to the point where the police chief dude, he seemed a little irritated. So I was out on my lunch break at work when all of this went down, and I was like, I'm at lunch. I'm in a separate classroom, locked up. I brought my lunch to work, locked up. Kids is playing, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, what? Like I was you, girl. So some people had already started to speculate that it wasn't sounding right, right?
Right.
So Alabama police revealed that Carly Russell, the 25-year-old Hoover resident who went missing on July 3rd and reappeared at her parents' home 48 hours later, made some suspicious internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance. Russell was driving back home from work on Interstate 459. Okay, I said 98, 459, when she called 911 about an unoccupied toddler she had spotted walking alone on the side of the road. When she called a family member, as she was approaching the child, but the communication was interrupted. The 25-year-old nursing student then disappeared for 48 hours, returned to her parents' home on foot Saturday, July 15th, and was taken to a local hospital for treatment. Her boyfriend, who had been in the news crying and upset, like praying, like, can y'all please pray with us, pray for us that she's found. Poor baby, and I'm not gonna lie, he fine. So I was like, oh Lord, please, like, okay, like help him, Lord. Like he was not okay. So her boyfriend Tomar Simmons, because his name is also important, talked of Russell fighting for her life for 48 hours because that's what she told them after her return, and mentioned a kidnapper. But the fact that the Hoover Police Department never mentioned a kidnapping or a possible assailant in their updates on the investigation led many online observers to question whether Russell had staged her own abduction. Information shared by the Hoover Police on Wednesday about Russell's internet searches before disappearing raised more questions. So here we go. Officials say on July 11th at 7:30 a.m., 2 days before her disappearance, Russell searched if you have to pay for an Amber Alert. I wanted to make sure I had these dates and times right because I wanted to make sure we all had receipts for this foolishness. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, she searched for how to take money from a register without being caught. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., she searched for Birmingham bus station. At 2:35 a.m., searched one-way bus ticket to Birmingham bus station to Nashville with the departure date of July 13th at 12:10 p.m. According to police, Russell also searched for the movie Taken, a film about being abducted. I'm going to tell y'all right now, when I heard that part, I knew she was stupid, okay? And I'm not one for calling people stupid, but you literally abducted a movie about being abducted. I mean, you Googled, see, she got me all pissed off and the words is doing stuff. You Googled the movie Taken. You literally Googled Liam Neeson.
She has a particular set of skills that do not involve actually not getting caught.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
But wait,
Officials said there were 2 searches about Amber Alerts made on Russell's work computer on July 13th, including some searching for maximum age for an Amber Alert.
She think they go
Other searches
for her or for the kid?
I don't know, because also no child had been reported missing. There were no that in locally or outside of their town. So who was this child? So then other searches on Russell's phone appeared to shed some light on her mindset. Officials said, but out of respect for her family, the privacy of the authorities they refused to share that with the public. But the other thing was she also went to Target at like 8:21 p.m. on July 13th, the day she went missing, and purchased granola bars and Cheez-Its. And according to what I read, and this was one of the funniest TikToks because I had seen this after I read she went to Target. So according to one of the TikTok creators and one of the news stations who was like, bumps her family, we're going to tell the whole situation. She went to Target at 8:21 p.m. Went in, got Cheez-Its and granola bars. Sat in the Target parking lot until 9:31 p.m. and then called as she drove out, because there is footage of her. Target always has parking lot cameras,
Plain
people.
as day.
And she used her own card. Oh, the other thing, she told because there was $108 found in her sock, the kidnappers gave her money to get back or whatever. Girl, ain't no kidnapper, sex trafficker, nobody gonna give you over $100 to keep in your sock, or you had the $100 and kept it in your sock and they didn't take it. That is just, they're dumb kidnappers if they did that. That's all I'm saying. So she leaves the parking lot at 9:31, 9:32, calls the police at 9:36. There's also possibilities that they found a motel where she and a friend were for the entire time that she was abducted. Now, let's get to some other facts, because now her text messages and some of her tweets have gone viral and people have screenshots. The Target thing that made me laugh was there was one lady who was sharing it and someone duetted it on TikTok. If you're still not a TikTok person, when you duet a video, you basically cut into what they're saying and shed light on what you think they're talking about. Okay,
Right.
So there was this Caucasian lady who looked like a mama, right? She just, first of all, when her duet starts, she's just laughing. She was like, "Child, it's the snacks that got you. You went in the back seat because the Target bag was not in the car when she went missing. You went in the back seat of your vehicle to get your snacks." She said that would have got me caught too. She was like, that would have got me caught too, because honey, we all, especially us girlies, we love some snacks. And the lady was, her laugh was infectious, but she's not wrong. Like,
no.
You went in the backseat of your car. The snacks got you. If nothing else proved it, the snacks made them go, she lying. So come to find out,
kidnappers giving you snacks.
The boyfriend supposedly had cheated on her.
Oh, snap.
With a stripper. She sends a inbox message to the stripper. It is not, he didn't say whether he did or didn't, but they had broken up by this point. Even though in the news he was saying my girlfriend is missing, I think it was just like, because the breakup seemed to be fresh, he was just kind of like, he still had nothing to do with this. I'm going to make that very clear. He had absolutely nothing to do with this. What it's starting to look like, she goes off on the stripper. I'm better than you. I'm a nurse and you're a stripper. I'm beautiful. You're ugly. You may have whatever once. First of all, I heard you was a hoe bag because you don't even know who your baby daddy is. And she going on and on and on and on and on. And it's like, it's on about 5 different content creators pages. Like, and also now people are going on her tweets and like saying all kinds of crazy comments. Please look up her Twitter because it's funny, because she's also posted since she's been found and people are like commenting like crazy, like, you are the dumbest child I have ever met in my life. So supposedly there was a video that went out of her parents being interviewed, and I don't know if no one can tell whether this interview was recorded before the police press conference or after, because the parents, well, the dad, you can kind of see him. They're like, so do you believe your daughter? And like, you could tell under his breath, he was like, no, but he was like, yeah, And the mom's like, oh, of course I believe her. She was fighting for her life and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know if that was before or after the police thing, but after that, I wouldn't say nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, so this supposedly cheating situation happened where he supposedly cheated with a stripper. They broke up. Supposedly she did this to get his attention, because the other facts that they found, thanks to the FBI, is that her phone, she had blocked him on social media and in her phone before this had happened, once they had broken up. She unblocked him within 30 minutes of her supposedly being kidnapped. Our stupidity for wanting to be with a man cannot be at the level where you are kidnapping yourself to get his attention. He is now pissed. He's now on social media like, I can't believe I fell for that crap. He didn't say crap. He cussed. I would have cussed too. There are content creators who are, some are like joking about it, but some are also, bringing in the serious fact that what I mentioned earlier, we put all this effort into giving you a platform to be known that we are not okay, that another Black girl is going missing, and that you make us all look like fools. And so now that you've cried wolf, the next time this happens to somebody for real, they're not going to believe us and they're not going to get the attention that they deserve so they can be found because you made the decision, because you were having an insecure moment about your relationship and wanted your man back and wanted to see that he cared. And I guarantee you, and a lot of content creators said this too, she didn't think it was going to go as far as it did, and she got scared because, and there's one content creator, he made like a video, like a reenactment, him and some of his friends, like, hey, at the hotel chilling eating snacks, and she's like, girl, have you turned on the TV? Turn on the TV. And then she's like, oh my God, I need to go home. Like, it's a whole thing. But at this point, and I don't like to make people a butt of a joke, but at this point, you have now kind of earned it, because people really did. I mean, it, like I said, national, local, all the news stations, all the media. I saw so many people. It was bringing people together as a country because we all trying to find you, and you're lying. She supposedly is still holding on to the fact that she was abducted, even though the police, and oh, this is the other thing. The police chief said that she had mentioned that she had been following the child for 600 yards. And he said, and even I even know that, I'm a football fan, and that's too long. He said that in the press conference, like the police chief, because now he's pissed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's.
And normally I'll be like, dang, that's shady. But she deserved it. She deserved it. I mean, in comedy ways, you've had people going. I said earlier, this one girl was like, I was talking to God, like, can I get my prayer back? Because I wasted it on this girl. She wouldn't even go. And so these are the things that are happening. And then there's a clip from an old Kevin Hart stand-up that comes out where he's lying about where he's been. And he says something like, so yeah, there was a baby. There was a baby on the road. And it's also almost detailing exactly what she did. And this clip is going viral. If you go on TikTok, Instagram, and even Threads at this point, you can find this Kevin Hart clip about the baby, and it's so similar. I don't know, nobody can prove whether she got the scenario from him or not, but it's so close. He was like, "And the baby, and we were in the field, and then a squirrel came out of nowhere." You know what I'm saying? Like, he is just, it's a whole thing. And I'm watching this video, like, this person was like, so this is where Carly got her story from. And I was like, I remember that stand-up. I remember it was funny. Did she watch that? I mean, she Googled Taken. She could have.
Taken was too hard. It was too international. And she didn't have Liam Neeson, so she went with Kevin Hart instead.
So now you're possibly going to jail. And because this is now a federal crime, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. Isn't this a federal?
I don't know.
Well, one, you stole from your job, so that's,
yeah. But if she stole a little bit of money, charges. It's probably not. It doesn't reach the level.
I think it was money and, like, because it's a spa area. I think she took like a bathrobe too and something else. I don't know how much money from her job she took.
Well, but she definitely.
But $108 was on her.
She probably won't pass her nursing boards now because you have to pass. I think you have to pass some kind of background check. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't remember if you have to or not. I think you do. If you
have a felony or something?
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm not saying I don't know. They haven't said they're going to press charges or anything yet, because the way they left it basically was that we are going to continue to look into it. But as of right now, it does not look like she was abducted. And they haven't said, but I'm a little irate, and though I find some things hilarious about this situation, I am upset about the fact that so many people are right. She cried wolf.
Right.
She cried wolf, and we finally got the attention for someone. There have been people we have searched and searched and searched, and we can never find them. And you had everything behind you. And the reality is you did this. No man, good or bad, is worth you doing something like this over. It's not worth you fighting another woman over, because my philosophy is this, because I've been cheated on, I've done all the things. I've gotten to the place where it's like, if he cheated, then she can keep him.
1,000%.
She can keep him. I don't care if she's a stripper or work at Popeye. She can keep him, because if that's what he wants, If that's what he wants, he maybe needed an extra, piece of chicken every week, you know what I'm saying, from Popeyes to go with his lunch. Do your thing. I'm not going to be part of it. And I know it's a little harder when you're married, but if I'm not married to somebody for sure, he's just my boyfriend and we don't have no kids together, honey, child, take him. I don't,
Right.
bye. Because this
Well,
wasn't worth it. You made your
once a cheater,
family look
always a
bad.
cheater.
You made your town look bad. You made the police look bad. And everything that people were proud of you for, being a nurse, getting your degree, doing all of these things, you went and put a stain on your entire life.
And
Your name is out there. Your face is out there.
no matter when in the future someone Googles her, looks her up, this is going to be the first thing that pops up forever and always.
I mean, there's been I don't know how to share a screen on here. Do you guys remember the whole Jussie Smollett thing?
Oh yeah.
So you know how they do like the verses with the musical artists or whatever?
Yeah.
So it was like a versus flyer and it was like Jussie Smollett versus Carly Russell. Like, I'm telling you, it's just been it's been a lot. Like, like I said, I laugh, but I'm so mad. And it's not that I knew her personally. I watched this show with my mom this season and it's not coming back, but it was a really good show. It's called Alaska Daily, and it talked about this very thing, just with Native women versus other women. And they showed on the final episode this map. They started with how many Native women, because they solved one case. They showed how many Native women in Alaska alone have been missing within this year. Then they showed how many have been missing in the country in this year. And it was like maybe 50, 60. But then they went back 10 years. It was by the time they got back like 15 years or so, the entire United States map was filled with Native women who have gone missing. And they showed in this show how little the people invest in the safety of Native women in Alaska. Some of the areas where the tribes are, they don't even hire police over there. They have volunteer cops that can't really do anything,
right,
but counsel them and take them back home if they can. They showed the DA covering up for big business people who were people of interest, but because he knew somebody who knew somebody that was like, oh, we're going to throw it out. And that they don't keep domestic and sexual assault people on a registry if the case has been dropped. So you don't know, you can't look up whether if he hurt you, you can't look up if he's hurt other women before, because if the women dropped the case, the DA took it out and took them off the list. Whereas in California, that ain't so. Yeah. Even if you were arrested for domestic violence and the case was dropped, you still on the list. Yeah. You are still on the list. So things like this are happening all over the country, where women are not being believed, where women of color are not being searched for, where women of color are being abused in situations. And then they get to the point to where they keep telling them that he's beating me, he's hurting me, he's this, he's this, he's this. And then they don't do nothing until they've come to her house to take her body out because she's dead, because we're not believing women. But then Carly, you want to go out there, and because you mad at your man and you want to see if he still cares about you, pretend to get kidnapped. Like, it's pissing me off. Like, it is making me so angry. Yeah. It should. Where our rights are being taken away in so many areas, where Supreme Court justice just took reverted back oh my god, affirmative action, where it is no longer it's null and void at this point, where you find out you have judges who are arguing because they don't believe this should be happening, but they're getting outvoted over things like this. But you want to lie. You are making not only women look bad, you're making a culture look bad. You're making, it's just so many things. And I didn't mean to talk this whole episode, and I feel like I have, but I was telling Jess about it, and she's like, we're going to talk about this on the show, because we were supposed to do something else. We have a whole, I promise you, there's a list. There's a list that we have of episodes, I promise you. But I asked Jess, has she heard about this? She was like, no, but let's go. So it's just making me angry. Go ahead.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, we talk a lot about, I think this is the thing that has been lost kind of in our culture lately, and it is the idea of a responsibility to our fellow man, and that what we do affects other people. And we don't, people are just in it for me. It's a very selfish notion. What about me? And I think that's the basis. I mean, that's humanity to a T. Like we are most concerned with our own stuff. Everybody's got to get their own bag and all that kind of stuff. Like, but there really isn't this idea anymore of I have a responsibility to my fellow humans, to do well by them and to live my life in such a way so that it doesn't impact them, and that's always been the case. Like we've always seen that. I mean, that's why there's crime. That's why there's people, it's selfishness and pride and all that kind of stuff. But really, I think that sense of cultural connection and identity is lost. And when there is that identity, when you don't consider how your actions affect other people, then it becomes so easy to do stupid stuff like this and not really consider the impact that it's going to have. Notwithstanding the fact that, let's set that aside for a moment. If you're having to pretend you've been kidnapped in order to get a man's attention, just saying that maybe he's not the right man. Maybe he's just not that into you, to quote the book and movie from the early 2000s. He's not that into you.
Great movie.
Like, maybe it's not worth your time.
No man, woman, boy, girl, animal, dog, cat, nobody, nothing is more important than yours. I can't even get my words out. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Coming from somebody who was very insecure and did things out of duress in relationships because I thought I was going to lose someone, or they told me you're going to lose me if, and so I acquiesced to their request. And all it did was dug me deeper in sin, or dug me deeper into my issues of insecurity. I cannot and will not allow myself to ever go back to being that person. Nobody's worth it. And if I don't have nobody else but Jesus, then dang, that's all I got. And I'm okay with it. Yeah. I don't know if you know who Jesus is or not, but girl, it was not worth it. I don't care if he cheated on you with somebody even better than you. First of all, if you felt so confident that this person was not even as good as you are, why were you tripping? And my mom said something the other day. She was like, I don't condone cheating, but no man ever stays with the stripper. He doesn't.
I have a caveat to that, but you're not wrong as a rule, for sure.
As a rule. So she's like, she did all this because what?
No man worth having, first off, is going to cheat in the first place. And second of all, no man worth having
that part
is going to stay with a stripper. And not to say that I have anything like personally against strippers.
I don't either.
I wish they made better choices. I think there's better ways of doing it. Like, I'm not out here like...
I can't judge. I used to literally work for a strip club. You know what I'm saying? But not that I worked inside the strip club. Let me clarify that. I worked for the stripper company. I did not work in the strip club, although I had to go into the office a couple times. Mostly I worked from home before working from home was a thing. Anyway, but I was very nice to the strippers. I didn't judge them. Maybe a little bit. That's going to be the
pull quote from this episode. When I go back and I do the marketing for this, that's going to be, I was very nice to the strippers. That's what we're going to use for marketing.
Mostly, when I was there. But anyway.
I will say this.
Nobody's judging your choices.
Yeah. Ladies, men, on the other side of things, can I just be very clear? I have the privilege of having walked through a season of singleness and then now having been married. And sometimes I look at my marriage and I go, like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of conflict in our marriage, because there's not. I mean, there's little conflict here and there because it's two people who live side by side, right? But I think, and as I observe the world around me and the people around me, I think there are some people who thrive on drama, who don't think that the relationship is any good unless there's some kind of drama or angst or...
Right, but that's what people are taught. Because we're taught marriage isn't easy. We're taught that you have to work for it all the time. So when there's nothing to work for in that moment, you feel like, why is it no conflict? Like, you're even fighting about that.
Well, and so here's the thing. I am here to tell you that while marriage takes a constant amount of effort and attention, because it's just like any other relationship and you gotta like maintain, right? Like the effort is not so much, and you have to make this work. It's not trying to fit a square peg in a round hole and trying to fit everything in. No, I'm here to tell you that if you are in a relationship with a person who is a well-intentioned person, who is on the same page as you are, who wants the same things that you want, and I would say if you are with someone who believes the same that you do as far as your faith goes and is headed in that same direction, I don't think that you are going to have to do a ton of maintenance or like repair in your relationship if you are both on the same page and you are both walking in a mature way. And
you have to be honest, though.
You do. And here's the thing, like we women get so, and I say this from experience, like we get so desperate to be in a relationship that we settle for men who we know are not on the same wavelength. They are not the guys that we should be with. They are not the right guy. And yet we just want to be in a relationship so bad. I am here to tell you from firsthand experience, it was better to be alone than to be with a man who was not the right guy. My life was so much better when I chose being alone versus being with guys who were not the right guy.
Same here.
Like if he is not bringing added value to your life in some way, shape, or another, kick him to the curb. Why? Like, why? He's not worth it.
And if you have to go to lengths like this,
like,
no. if you have to go to lengths like this, like, this is not normal. I'm sorry. And I'm not a normal person in general. So for me to say the words, this is not normal, is like cringe, but it's not normal, honey.
Not.
Like, it's not normal. And like Jessica said, you have consequences to your actions. Right. But these actions don't just affect you. The consequences don't just come for you. I had a situation with a student last week where he did something and he was spiraling downward. I had to finally call his dad's, and I was like, look, your kid, this is what has started at the beginning of the day, and it's just kept going from there. And the dad said to me, this is going to get worse. I'm going to come get him now. So when he came to pick me up, well, he didn't come pick him up. The other dad came to pick him up. So I talked to the other dad, and he's like, he told me some of it, but tell me exactly what happened. So I'm telling dad exactly what happened. And he looks at his son, he says, and because of your actions, now your sister has to leave camp early. She has to stop having fun. She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't get in trouble. But because you decided to make decisions that not only affected yourself, but now has affected her, now she has to leave, and you both don't get to come tomorrow. Because his consequences, he said this to him, your actions do not only affect you, they affect other people.
Right.
And the sister was upset. And I get it. And that's the same thing with us in life. Your actions there is nothing that I do in my life at this point anymore, married, not married, that it doesn't affect other people.
Right.
If I don't do something when it comes to me and Jess in our business and our ministry, if that area doesn't get done, she can't do her area. And it can be the simplest things, like I didn't send an email to somebody to verify something and she's waiting on me. That's something that's affecting our ministry and our business. If I don't get to work on time, and there's a major thing and I have the keys, that affects everybody because now nobody can get in the building. It is the simplest things, and not saying that I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, but there are things that I know if I don't do it, or if I'm not there, if I don't do my part, it doesn't just affect me. It affects a myriad of people.
Remember
Same thing.
The movie, The Butterfly Effect?
Yes.
And so the idea of the butterfly effect is that if a butterfly flaps its wings in Africa, it creates a hurricane in the US, right? It's this idea that small actions that we take impact they all have a chain reaction and everything affects other
Really?
people.
That's true.
And that is kind of an intense like example, but the idea is, yeah, everything we do or don't do affects other people. As simple as driving, right? I don't know what it is about Georgia. I don't know what it is about here. I think it's the slower pace, the slower like mental speed at which people, and I don't mean that, and I mean it's just like it's a slower pace. So people like things, they do things slower. It's
They
not
mosey?
like they mosey. It's not like in California or me where I'm like 100 miles an hour all the time. I'm always like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I drive. In fact, one of my coworkers made the comment that I came in the parking lot on 2 wheels. I didn't, but for Georgia, I did. Also, I was late.
She drives like a Californian. That's literally all it is.
It is. But the thing is, like, people in front, there's a thing in Georgia where they will run red lights. Red lights are suggestions. And people will not pay attention at the green light, and they will sit there. Now, I don't know if it's because people also run red lights, so maybe it's a
is it a colorblind issue in the state?
Like, no, I think it's just people not paying attention. And then they will proceed to go through the intersection at a snail's pace. And I'm talking like, are you going to put the
Oh, that would drive me crazy.
It drives me bonkers. But there have been so many times when I have missed a light because somebody was not paying attention. I mean, more times than I can count. But it's like your actions now affect me. And because they can't figure out how to time a traffic light out here, now I'm 5 or 10 minutes late because you have made the choice to not pay attention in your vehicle. And it doesn't just affect you, it affects other drivers. And so it's like even little things like that. If you make the decision to text while you drive and you hit somebody, that decision has affected somebody else. And it's not even negative things. If you made the decision. So yesterday, and I don't say this to toot my own horn, but I just say it as an example of how our actions can affect other people. I was coming out of Publix. I had to stop at the grocery store to pick up some groceries. And I had just a few items in my cart, and there was an older lady. And it is, when I tell you right now, y'all, it is 99 degrees today with 89% humidity. It is hotter than Hades out here right now.
I won't complain because it's hot as crap out here too.
Yeah, but you know what? I would take your heat all the time because we got the humidity, and it is. Yeah. July is the worst.
I'm so sorry.
But it was hot. It was the heat of the day. It was like 4:00. I'm coming out the grocery store. And this lady, you could just see that she was wilting, and she was trying to find where the cart return was for her grocery cart, or her buggy, as they refer to them out here. And she was trying to find where to return her buggy. And I saw her looking around, and I said, hey, I'm headed, once I get my, do you mind if I just take your cart and I'll just put it away for you? She was like, and her face lit up. It was like I had given her the best gift. And it literally was, I'm going to go there anyways. Let me just take your cart and you get your car. And it was not anything extra to do. And I didn't even think about it, but it was like how that impacts somebody's day. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
In the good or the bad. And so for this girl now to have not considered how her actions were going to have ramifications, the fact that people no longer consider the ramifications or the outcomes of their actions, we need to do a better job of teaching young people that there are consequences, good and bad, to all the things that we do each and every day.
Yes. I love that our kindergarten teacher at our school, she always does a lesson in the middle of the year with her kinders called Cause and Effect. Mm-hmm. And she makes them come up with, she teaches them about it. And then in their homework packet that week, she makes them come up with scenarios, you know, that, oh my gosh, I keep getting called by people. It's fine. Likely. There's no fires.
They're trying to make sure about your car's extended warranty.
Right. But she does this thing with them. And so the other day I was saying something about consequences. And one of the kids was like, Miss Joy, one of the first graders, what's the consequence? I said, well, remember when you were in Miss Norris's class? And she was like, yeah. I said, remember you guys did cause and effect? She's like, oh, okay. I said, so if you eat too much candy, what's going to be the effect? I can get a tummy ache. Exactly. So consequences are like that. When you do something you're not supposed to do, then there's going to be a reaction. There's going to be an effect that happens, whether it means they have to have a timeout, or they can't participate in an activity, or they get sent home for the day, or whatever the case may be. And she totally understood it because the word consequence was not something that was registering to her brain.
Right.
We have to, you're right, teach people at a young age that, one, you shouldn't be selfish. Because to me, what she did was selfish.
Absolutely.
Because it's selfish to not think that there would be consequences to the things that you chose to do. Because what was the plan? You were going to stay longer another few days and then make him miss you enough and you go back home because he's begging and pleading on the internet, which is what he did. But
you think that's going to erase him cheating on you? No.
Yeah, no. Or is it going to make things automatically better in your relationship because you went missing and he showed you he cared? You all had broken up by this point. You made a decision, whether he broke up with you or you broke up with him. The decision was made. So why make this choice to do what you've done? And your consequences affect your immediate family. Your reactions affect your immediate family. It is now affecting how he really feels about you. You It's to the point where the internet, there was one girl was like, I get it. Like, I would have kept mine myself too. He's cute. Like, but she was joking. But then you also have the people like, and he's never going to come back to you because of this.
Because that's a level of crazy nobody wants to hang out with.
That is, do I believe she needs to have some mental evaluations? Absolutely. Because nobody in their right mind would do this. Like, there was you can't tell me she was in her right mind. If this is her right mind, God bless.
I don't know. I've seen some women make and men. I've seen people
make stupid decisions.
Humans make stupid choices because
in relationships.
Because people check their brain at the door when it comes to relationships. And I'm sorry,
to me, if you don't think about how it's going to affect other people, to me, that's selfish.
Yeah.
That is selfish. And I hope she doesn't go to jail, but I have a feeling she will be, or at least a major fine. Your career is probably now over before it started. And I don't think anybody will trust you for a very long time.
Yeah.
Very long time. If you guys ever think of doing something like this, just don't.
First off, why? Like, I joked earlier about like sending animal excrement to the but here's the thing. There is no scenario on the planet where that would actually happen.
Ever happen.
Like, there is no way. Did I Google it? Absolutely. Would I have any intention of actually doing it? No, because I'm not dumb. I'm not someone.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. Like, I'm not dumb.
Like, don't get me wrong. The dude was dumb enough to have his home address publicly on the internet. Like, I found it, which that's his own stupidity and someone should talk to him about it. But like, I wasn't even trying to find it. That's how dumb it was. Like, I literally Googled the dude's name and it came up. Like, Google, everybody here, Google yourself once in a while. See what
it'll come up. I do on occasion.
Up, right? Because then if you don't control your privacy and the narrative around your information, somebody else will. That's my little PSA for the day. But like if you're gonna, like, don't do stupid things. Don't do crazy things. Because think about what that's going to say. And I think about it in terms of two things. First off, I have a reputation to maintain as far as the things that I really want to accomplish in my life. Second of all, I have a reputation to maintain because I am a pastor. I am a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I am not about to be up here. I don't want the first thing that people think of when they see my name to be some kind of shenanigans that I pulled. Now, I'm crazy, but I'm crazy in a fun way, not in like an actual psycho way. And I don't want the first thing that they think of me to be like, oh no, she's a mess. She's an absolute mess. Because then I don't want them to say, oh, well, she's a Christian. She's a mess and she's a Christian. I don't want that to sully or spoil the name of my Savior, right? Like, he knows my shenanigans, but also I don't want it to be legit for real. And thirdly, I don't want it to be a bad reflection on my husband, who works hard and who is developing a positive reputation among his peers, who works hard and does those things. I don't want it to sully the name of my parents, who are gaining a good reputation here, who are well known and loved by so many people. Like I don't want their daughter to be a chucklehead, right? Like it's not just about us. It's about the people around us, because now her parents forever, they're going to go to the grocery store and people are going to be talking around the corner about her mama and daddy because she was some kind of way about some idiot boy. He should be with the stripper.
All over. All of this is over a man. It's not even that she needed a break from life, because I've seen even recently where like mamas go on like staycations and leave the kids with the dads kind of thing. Like even I saw a husband actually offer, like he told his wife, I rented you a hotel for 2 days.
Yeah.
Just go and relax. That's a major difference from what you did. Like
it's not even in the same wheelhouse.
You will probably never hear this, but I hope you do. But 1, get to know Jesus, because he could have helped you not do this. 2, get to know him because he's really good. And 3, don't do nothing like this ever again. And if you are not her and you're listening or watching this, don't do it. No man, no puppy, no friend is that important for you to, again, coming from somebody who has done some stuff to get the attention or the affection from the person, or to make them feel like they are important to me. I've done some crazy things. I have done some stuff. Read the book, it's in there. But I don't want anybody to ever get to that place in their security level of themselves, that they feel like they owe a man to do something so outlandish to get them back. It is never worth it. And this wasn't worth it. You can't tell me at the end of the day, Miss Carly, that this was worth it for you, because nobody is going to believe you, whether they find more evidence against her or not, whether she goes to jail or not. This is going to live down in history. The internet is forever. You have pissed off a community of people. You have hurt and not only pissed off a community of people who did not know you and genuinely cared enough to make noise to find you. And you can say all day long, I didn't know it was going to get that big. But when you don't know, you shouldn't do it.
But even if it was big in her small town,
if it was still big.
Even if it was just in her small town or her town or in Birmingham,
it still is wrong.
Like, it still is going to have an impact to other people that you ostensibly care about.
To me, I feel like it's an even bigger impact because you are in a smaller area.
Yeah. Like, you got to live there. What's the old saying? Don't poop where you eat.
Yep. And then now you can't move nowhere either. Literally, your name and face is everywhere.
Yep. Witsec.
And people are still posting updates as we literally record this.
Yep.
When I looked up something else, it was like 30 minutes ago. Update. You know, it was just going over recapping, but people are still updating. Your name is Googleable, but for the wrong reason.
That's true. Hey.
And that's unfortunate.
If you are considering faking your own abduction in order to win a man back, maybe don't. Maybe get a spa day instead. Maybe
go find a pasta making class. Do something. Like, just don't do that.
That's perfect, because then not only do you have something to do so that you keep your mind, you get the physical, like you can pretend that the pasta is his face. But then also you get to eat pasta at the end, and that's never a bad thing.
And that's always a win-win situation to me.
I was thinking about you the other day because I was watching a video on fettuccine Alfredo, and it was Tasting History with Max Miller, was a YouTube channel, which we like. It's all like historical or recipes, like, and they were talking about fettuccine Alfredo. And I know that you like buttered noodles, like that's your vibe. You don't like cheese or anything like that. But I was laughing because Alfredo sauce.
I'll do marinara.
Like Alfredo sauce, we see as like a creamy, milky kind of sauce. But actual fettuccine Alfredo is literally toddler style buttered noodles with Parmesan. Like, I know you don't do the Parmesan, but still, like buttered noodles with Parmesan, like toddler styles. And I was like, oh,
I've always known like our version of Alfredo is like American made, because all of my friends who have been to Italy and all this other stuff, they're like,
lighter.
don't even ask for Alfredo in certain regions because they don't have it. Like it's not going to be what you expect. So yeah, it's interesting.
That's how we do.
Maybe we'll talk about food facts another day.
It's like a cacio e pepe, but with fettuccine.
I don't know why I think it's funny when people say cacio e pepe. Anyway.
Delightful. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Kind of an out-of-the-box episode for us, but not? Joyce seemed real passionate about it, and I was like, let's do this.
I was mad. Let's be honest, I was mad.
So, hey, we are glad that you've been with us today.
Yes.
We want to highlight, by the time this comes out, this should be coming up pretty soon. We have the Crafted Women's Conference, which is going to be September 23rd in Bellflower, California. We've got a fantastic lineup of speakers.
Oh my
gosh. Lots of really great stuff. Look for the website address in the description below to get your tickets. But it's going to be a great, great event, and we hope that we see you there. In the meantime, you can catch us on social media on Instagram at We Digress with Joy_Jess. You can also catch us on our website at joyandjess.com. That's JOIANDJESS.com. You can leave us a voice memo. You can let us know if you've got any thoughts or questions. Have you ever thought about faking your own disappearance in order to woo a man? Let us know.
I would really be interested to know.
Like if that's your thing, let us know, because we have questions. So all kinds of good stuff. We'd love to hear from you. You can also email us at podcast@joyandjess.com. All right, y'all. Have the best week ever. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Check us out on the web at joyandjess.com. That's JOIANDJESS.com. We'll see you next week.